Knock, knock. Hello? Is anyone there? I should be promoting my lives. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone who has joined. Please join. I know it's news time. I've been really busy. I've been really busy for the past few days. And yeah, I've wanted to come on live, but I've not been able to come on because, in fact, I just go home, and I thought that I should quickly just share a few things that I've been reflecting on these past few days. And in fact, when I was coming home, I was listening to the news. So the news is about a debate. To debate or not to debate, and these comments from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is coming just right at the wake of his outdooring of his running mate, Matthew Opoku Prempeh Napo in Kumasi, where of course he made some unsavory remarks that has become the subject matter of various conversations, give or take, whether you agree or disagree. I think that the general consensus out there is, even for people who mean Napo well, that was the wrong platform, the wrong time to take a swipe, at none other than Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But yeah, this evening, what do I want to talk about? Yes, I want to speak briefly about Napo's outdooring and matters arising, but specifically the main object of joining, of doing this live, of course, is to have a conversation with you about the whole subject matter of debates, okay, and that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is daring His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to a debate. Okay, so let's be fair, no matter where you stand. Now I think that there are a lot of fair-minded Ghanaians out there. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, accountability partner, is not His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Dr. Bawumia's accountability partner is the good people of Ghana. So for me, the first thing that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo should and must do is ensure that he accounts to the people of Ghana. The second thing that the NPP government must do is to ensure that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the head of the economic management team, accounts to the people of Ghana. Please, is that not fair? John Dramani Mahama is not his accountability partner. A debate and debates have always been part of our, our nascent democracy the past couple of years. Unfortunately, we haven't seen debates since 2012. Luckily, I think I must have been the first female media person to get nominated to be part of the moderator list at the 2012 presidential and vice presidential debate. According to the interparty committee that organized, that were the group of people, the political party representatives, including IA reps, that nominated the names to be considered for moderators. Professor Nana Jane, we've come full circle, actually. That's the first time I actually met Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman when we all got nominated to be on the IEA presidential debate and vice presidential debate in the 2012 elections. So Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman topped the votes, followed by Kojo Nkrumah, then me. There was a fourth person, but I hear the fourth person declined, so it was the three of us. And so for the presidential debate, they were moderated by Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman and Kojo Nkrumah, and Kojo and I moderated the vice presidential debate in Koforidua. So debates, as a matter of principle in a democracy, are very welcome and they are very important. It creates a snapshot view of the candidates. We watch for many things. We watch for the grasp of the candidates, the knowledge on the issues, how wide-ranging his understanding of the economy in the country and its operations are. We watch for the conduct, and the behavior and the mannerisms, So there are a lot of things that a debate can help you achieve. So a debate in principle is not a matter of contention. But that a debate is being invited from John Dramani Mahama by Dr. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who has been running away from the good people of Ghana, which people he is in a social contract with, is what is telling. Because for the past couple of, for over a year now, Dr. Bawumia has refused to speak and to accept the invitation from the citizens of Ghana to debate the economy of which he is the head of. That really is the problem. And so, as the lawyers would tell us, he who comes for equity must first come with clean hands. So for me this evening, my message is simple. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, please go and debate the economy for the people of Ghana. What it's also telling sometimes is the insistence when such invites come from the other side, the insistence as if it is only when they throw invites that those invites become legitimate. Here we are. The media of Ghana, they have screamed themselves hoarse, and I think that the media should take this thing up. The media should demand direct accountability from this government, and that includes direct accountability from both Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because Nana Addo is still the president of the country, and he is shepherded over the country over the past, 4 years. So he needs to be accountable to the people of Ghana first. And the media has asked consistently, why have you stopped the press briefings? Why has the President of the Republic stopped the press briefings? That is it is a just question to ask. So if Dr. Bawumia wants a debate, I think the first thing he ought to be doing is to respond to the invitation by the citizens of this country, by the media of this country. I think that he has also been invited to open himself up same way, equally, or even better, because really they are the helm of affairs. So it is imperative that we hear Bawumia speak to the media of Ghana first. Be accountable first through the media to the people of Ghana, in whom you have a fiduciary responsibility for, who have entered a social contract with you and allowed for you to govern with them over the past couple of years. You owe them that first, okay? That's what you owe them first. Let me see what some of you are saying. I see the comments are coming in for and against. That's fine, no problem. Adams from Kintampo, welcome. Bawumia should one debate the economy, yes. Meet the press, number 2, 3. Debate Ghanaians first, and then we can think about debating your opponent. Your opponent is not your accountability partner. Your accountability partner is the people of Ghana, who have vested their collective resources and who you've made promises. I think a best and a good place to start is for Dr. Bawumia to answer the questions. Is it 170 questions? The same questions that he had about the economy. It will be good in all good conscience that we hear the NPP presidential candidate address those same questions respectfully, because those questions were germane then, they are germane today. Ghanaians would want to hear those questions answered respectfully. Ibrahim says, President Mahama is waiting for the debate. The MPP should bring it on. Watching you from Dubai. Ibrahim, I hope the rains have left you guys now in Dubai. Yeah. All this clouds seeding and all these change of temperatures. We are waiting for Mr. Mahama for the debate. In fact, anybody who would have watched President Mahama's encounter with the press Sunday, this past Sunday, and still feel or think that His Excellency JM is averse to any debate whatsoever, might not have watched the debate, because no one who has watched that debate would be in any doubt at all about the deep understanding and wide understanding about the operations of the economy that the former president has. And that's why he keeps saying, and some of us agree with him, that from given where we are now as a country, giving the diagnosis of the economy that the New Patriotic Party themselves, has told us, for which reason they have asked us to accept so many things, to accept the hardships, to accept, the corruption and wanton dissipation of public resources, for which reason they have told us to tighten our belts, for which reason they tell us that Accra is not Ghana, and so if we think that foodstuffs are expensive in our local markets in Accra, we should go to Asamenkasi and buy plantain, for which reason they keep telling us that it is a global crisis is Russian and Ukraine war, and we are still able to take ourselves from our country to go and beg the Ukrainians to give us grains. There are a lot of inconsistency. This government presents us a paradox in dimensions never experienced in the history of this nation. And I see that many people want to often just come at you and say that, oh, you are, it's, I think that the psychologists in our country, they should begin to talk, because this government and these communicators are making us all think like we are hallucinating. They are making us, they want to force us to believe that we are not seeing what we are seeing. We are not feeling what we are feeling. And, we are not doing what we are doing to survive. Today, I was at a program, and there's a guy who said he was looking for someone to buy his television, because that's how bad things have become for him and his family. Yesterday, I was speaking to a friend whose wife was laid off as a result of the banking close-ups and those matters. The wife has since gone to do a master's, is back home, no job. This is a highly skilled individual. She's back home, no job. The effects of the gross mismanagement of this economy is dire. It is telling on lives, many, many lives. These stories are not being told. These people are not speaking up. But when you come up to the media and you sit, and as a communicator, your first order of business is not to empathize deeply, sincerely, most humbly with the hardships that you have unleashed on Ghanaians who trusted your story, who bought your promise, and who entered into the social contract with you. When the least you can't do is to empathize with them, it presents you not only as an insensitive person, it presents you as somebody who totally does not care, cannot feel, lacks empathy. It presents you even as arrogant, because arrogantly you insist that what the people are telling you about the hardships is not exactly the picture. And the double standards that you like to project on any other person who raises these criticisms by trying to plead hypocrisy on the other side. Anyone who's watching today, please, you see, some of us have come into this decision after very sober reflections, deep sober reflections. It is not our interest or the interest to perpetuate narratives that ultimately works against this country, because some of us, this country is all we have. We don't intend to go anywhere. This is where we want to be proud about. This is where we want to sit and raise our family. Hamdan says, tell John Dramani Mahama to accept the challenge and stop this. Which challenge? Tell His Excellency the Vice President to accept the challenge that the media has thrown to him. The media is his primary responsibility in terms of accountability to the people. Tell him to accept that first. And when he does that, then we can think about a debate. Okay? And Frank Ano says, you see how you were embarrassed on Metro TV? Frank, this is what I'm saying. You people are high on something. I don't know what it is. You MPP communicators are very high on something. We need to figure out exactly what you're high on. Because if you watch that program and you come to sit here and tell me that I was embarrassed on a program on Metro Television on Monday, embarrassed over what issue, my brother? As I keep telling you, we, even your opponents, the NDC, we are not your accountability partners. Don't speak to us. Speak to the people of Ghana. Forget everything NDC says. Speak to the CSOs whose research, whose reports are telling you that you have brought us into a space where we have never been as a country. Speak to those people. Speak to all those experts in governance, in corruption. Have you been following CDD's Corruption Watch program? Have you been following them? If you were following them, you will not even bring yourself to make this kind of comment. Where is your conscience, Frank Ano? Where is your conscience? Where are your values of integrity, of right, of fellow feeling? Why have you departed from all these values that are the values that should bring and raise this country? That you cannot see wrong, feel wrong. You know, you see no evil, you speak no evil, and you think that you have done no evil at all. That lack of integrity to accept or concede any responsibility whatsoever, that your direct actions are part of the problem where we are today. Aren't you ashamed, Frank, that all people would have to picket for their money? That a former Chief Justice would have to come and empathize, empathy that you lack, bring herself after her sterling dedication and work to this nation, bring herself to come and picket with pensioners. Aren't you ashamed that this country has come to that? Don't you have fellow feeling? You have no honor for the elderly who have worked so hard. You bring yourself to come and laugh because it's a laughing matter for you, those who keep laughing at yourselves. You think it's a laughing matter? Where we are as a nation is a laughing matter, right? Because you are feeding fat, not so. You are satisfied. You are satisfied, not so. So you laugh at people's pain. You laugh at people's hardships because you are feeding fat. Well, very soon, come December 7, 2024, Ghanaians will definitely speak. Ghanaians would speak. And maybe you continue laughing at that. Judgment is coming. Let me also raise another thing about the consistent comparison. I went to a Catholic school. I went to Holy Child, and I know that Catholics have something called confessions, right? And that when you sin, you go and you confess to a priest, and it is assumed that your sins are forgiven. But of course, there are retributions for actions, okay? Because when we act in a certain way, when we do wrong, there are retributions. That's why when you commit a crime, you go to prison. Hopefully you would reform, you come back, you become a preacher or a philosopher, and you'll be a good member of the society. You see, so when you do wrong in the face of people, and sometimes people are unjustifiably jailed, right? Even our court systems have judged people wrongly. So when NDC, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, 8 years ago, after leading this country for 4 years, when he presented himself to Ghanaians to humbly seek a renewed mandate, and Ghanaians, I will never disrespect Ghanaians, because there were explanations. Just as today you are struggling and stumbling to explain away your many inefficiencies and deficiencies as a government managing our collective resources. There were Ghanaians then, in the time of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who felt that he had not done enough. You see, what does enough mean? When you write an exam, you're graded, aren't you? You're graded, and you can pass, you can have excellent, you can have good credit, pass or fail. You can have an A star, an A, a B plus, a C, or D, or F. These are all grades. So if you're giving a fail, it means that maybe you need to resit. You may get a B plus, but someone will get an A. It doesn't mean that you have not done well. You may get an A even, but someone has an A star. So think of it like that. Under the previous era, Ghanaians judged. They judged the NDC government under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama and decided that his leadership of the period did not deserve a renewal. And they decided to take a stake on promise. So they had lived a reality, but they believed a promise, that the promise will be better. Because indeed, that promise by Nene Akufo-Addo and Mahmoud Bawumia, that promise was very, very, it was very exciting for many people. Believe in Ghana, the promises were great. So Ghanaians decided to deliver a verdict. And so they voted the NDC out of office. And the NPP, what happened to them? They came into power. Didn't they? They came into power. So NDC, under John Mahama, received their judgment already. And yet, the New Patriotic Party doesn't want to receive any judgment from anybody. After the same people who experienced you, who accepted and bought your promise, after these same people are telling you these same things. Today you are fighting with the media, every media. Those are the signs, because you get jittery, you get defensive, you get, you get delusional sometimes, because, even you think that there's nothing wrong with you. That's why democracy inherently recognizes that after a certain period of time, the exigencies of the time will be so overwhelming as to mar your thought process and even your response to things. Okay? So, NDC received their judgment. So they are not your standard, and they ought not to be your standard. Your promise is your standard. Your promise to the people of Ghana is your standard as New Patriotic Party. So these same institutions, these same CSOs who used to do all these analysis, who were demanding, greater accountability from duty bearers, they are still there. They've not gone on hibernation. In fact, you have pushed many into hibernation because of the excessive vitriol against these independent-minded institutions. This country has seen such decay. Media Foundation for West Africa has tracked attacks against media and journalists in the era of a president that is supposed to be a champion for democracy. Do you see it? They have given us such huge numbers, which if you compare to the period, so you come and give me example like, oh, have you forgotten that there were abuses under, of course, there were those reports. So like I say, what is the scorecard? You see, one of the measures of a progressive party is that there are people within that party that are able to speak in support or against some transgressions within those parties. Why is it that President John Dramani Mahama is able to accept whatever may have been some of the mistakes in his government, but this government refuses to ever concede anything, not an inch of responsibility? You have heard any during international media, that media week, GJA have had cause to complain, to even blacklist members of government under a New Patriotic Party. blacklist. It never happened. GJ has been a growing concern for how long? Has such happened under His Excellency John Mahama? You must test the commitment of the leader himself. And then you will know. But the effects of those actions are there for everybody to see. I said media people, we've spoken to them. We have spoken about our own issues on air. Media people, including known sympathizers of the New Patriotic Party, have said on programs. I was on air sometime with Manasseh, with Evans, with some other former journalists who are outside. We were four. We're on Evans's program, and we're talking about media freedoms and impunity against journalists. All of us agreed on that platform. It's a matter, I beg your pardon, I ate before coming. It's a matter of record. We all agree that there's greater self-censorship within the media front than we have ever experienced in our life. That is a fact. That is a fact. It's not a contested matter. I said media people said we are experiencing more attacks. We feel more attacked in this period than we were under John Dramani Mahama. When we speak about conduct, even in the face of deep provocation, some of you go and mention that, oh, His Excellency said he's a dead goat, he's a dead goat. You see, conduct and behavior. But you have never, none of you has ever brought yourself to call him arrogant. None of you has ever brought yourself to call him arrogant. Why? Why? At best, you said he has misspoke. Political misspeaks, if you would give and list them, almost every political person, anybody who is in the public life would at one point in time misspeak. It is the consistency. Recently I read about, behavior, about emotions and behavior. And the thesis of the argument is that our emotions are valid, because if I am happy, I'm happy. It does whatever is triggering that happiness, triggering that happiness, I am happy. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I am angry, it's an emotion. It's a valid emotion because something may have made me angry. What is actually not justified though is behavior. How you behave when you're angry, how you behave when you're sad, or how you behave, those may lend themselves to more critique. So you overreact over a matter, or you behave rudely over a matter. So your emotions are valid, but not all your actions are valid. So again, let me see some of you. Ibrahim says, President Mahama is waiting for the debate. JM is not scared of a big debate. JM just will not accept an invitation to a debate from a group that persistently, consistently do not lend themselves to the same, to the same liberties they demand. No, you're not special than anybody, please. You're not more special than anybody. You're not the one to dictate the pace of democracy for anybody. You aren't. You aren't the one. So if you want to come to a table of equity, first show some high moral suasion by coming with, clean hands. Tadi, what's Tadi? Hassan says Tadi. Tell John Mahama to accept the debates. That is, you guys, I've observed in the past couple of days of engaging that quickly, when a matter comes up, the NPP communicators will contrive a quick narrative, and that's what they will run with. As they've been running with, you cannot explain 24-hour economy. You cannot explain 24-hour economy. No problem. You don't understand it. It's your comprehension issue. Let us speak to those who are genuinely interested in understanding what a 24-hour economy is. But here it is, they consistently, persistently keep throwing the same thing they're doing now. You see, and just this evening I heard, so when on the debate or on the debate about the debate, they called IAA, who said, oh, they are organizing the debate. So it's almost as if, why, is there some concerts going on Is there some collaboration going on? Because why is it that just when Dr. Bawumia is asking for a debate, so anyway, so you see, so that's the same contrived narrative they're running away now. They're saying, no, accept the debate, accept the debate. Have you accepted the invitation of the media to present yourself to them? Aren't you ashamed? Please, let us not do this to our country. The tenets of democracy are objective. Accountability to the people is one prime such tenet. You have led this country over the past 4 years in this second term of President Akufo-Addo. He has not, as a president, presented himself to the people to be accountable, to address all these screaming scandals upon scandals that have hit him. You know, what worried me, really, what worried, and hold on, Kweku, you think we are kids. He has no policy. Indeed, you know, an empty barrel would recognize an empty barrel. So it would take an empty barrel to think somebody is also an empty barrel, because half of the time, when you know that people who are guilty of something is the same thing they accuse people of. So this is what you're saying. This is not the discourse I want to have, but you see the discourse you're inviting us into the discord of the absurd. You have just come on this live to say that you think we are kids. In fact, you are a kid. If you are not a kid, you will not make this comment. He has no policy. Empty barrel. No problem. He doesn't have a policy. Your policies have brought us where we are. You know, it's very exhausting. And these are some of the things that some of us have said, no, we cannot stay in the fray anymore. At least we will talk. We will come and we will talk, because we've been in this country. We've experienced different regimes up until this point. You bring yourself to come on this live to say that we think you are. If you are not a kid, Kweku, damn it, you will not make this comment. You will not make this comment that your opponent has no policy. Let the Ghanaians be the judge of it. But you see it. Listen, the Ghanaians are not going to, Ghanaians will not compare you and your programs and your promise to JDMs. Because you are in a world of your own. Your judgment is different from the alternatives. So let's put you on the block first. Let's put you on the block first. Face your judgment squarely. And then let Ghanaians decide what alternative they are going to choose. It's not for you to tell them that the alternative is anything. It's not for you, because you must face your judgment based on your own promise. Your own promise that you have failed. So you're a kid to think that, Kweku. You're a kid to think that. And I will not add that you're an empty barrel to think that. Because I think everybody has something small in their head, no matter how small it is. So I won't call you an empty barrel. You are at liberty to make that. Why are you afraid? You see, that's it. They have come here. They have swarmed here as beats. And Ameko says, why are you afraid to debate your opponent? Why is your... No, I'm saying that NDC is not your opponent. Your opponents are the people of Ghana. Why are you afraid to be accountable to the people of Ghana? Why is, respectfully, the economic waste kid afraid to answer questions about the economy to the people of Ghana? Not to JM. Forget JM. He's not your standard. Hello? Ghanaians agreed that you were a better standard, so they kicked the NDC out of government. Whatever lessons that experience has taught has been taught. And it is that experience that JDM is the most viable option and choice today. Because where he brought us and where you have taken us, nowhere close to the promised land you delivered. Nowhere close. You've virtually taken the Israelites back to Pharaoh to go and face the persecutions and the hardships that the Israelites face. That's what the NPP has done. They have carried the people of Ghana who were at least midway to the promised land. You have carried us back. When will people recover? You know, you don't hear. Do you know, my friend who works in an international organization outside this country, who set up what the bankers a standing draft, or what the bankers call it, and every month she was sending money home, investing in bonds and other things. She is bitter. This girl has sacrificed over a decade and more of her life. Her kids are here. She's gallivanting and working her behind off to create something. She's lost her money. When you go, they will tell you that if you try to redeem now, this is how much you're going to lose. You don't know those stories, right? You don't know those lived stories of people. You come and say that, why are you afraid to debate your opponent? Your opponent is not the NDC. Your opponent is the people of Ghana, who have experienced untold levels of hardships, who have seen untold levels of corruption. I'm back to the point I was going to make earlier, the point that really broke my heart. And it breaks my heart always to say, because it had to be a woman involved. When I read that letter by President Akufo-Addo to Cecilia Dapart, then beginning it with "My dear Cecilia," saying that he knows that in time she will be vindicated, that our president saw no wrong with the fact that an appointee of his harbored such colossal sums of money in her home at a time that you were pleading with Ghanaians not to panically buy dollars so we can stabilize the economy. I gave up. I gave up. Absolutely nothing wrong. No comment. My dear Cecilia, why have you kept such amounts of money in your home? This singular action flies in the face of our commitment to stabilize the economy and to encourage all Ghanaians to trust the economy. By keeping such colossal amounts of money in your home, you have defeated our moral objectives. No, our president saw no wrong in that. And yet you say the market woman who goes to Dubai to purchase her items, she should not buy dollars. She should not panically buy dollar when the dollar is now hitting how 16 Ghana cedis, 15 Ghana cedis. From $1 to 4 cedis, $1 to 16 cedis. Please, if you don't love yourself, don't hate yourself either. Okay? Abdul says, Mahama can withstand Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Okay, we hear you. Someone says, Johnny says, Bawumia should go and debate the women at Malata Market, the fishmongers, the food vendors. Yes, those are his accountability partners. I totally agree. Go and debate the suffering Ghanaians. Yes, truly. Kobi Achampong of the NDC was right. Francono, I will not even call you what you have just written. He said you were always going for money to do people's bidding. So which money? So Kobi Achampong was in the NDC. Have you seen your illogicality? Have you seen how blind you are? I don't want to use the word I want to use because you see, I have home training. Was Kobi not a member of the NDC? And I keep telling people that I was in the media at the time the NDC was in government. And I held them to strict account. So if I can, from that episode, come and sit here today and tell you that per my experience, the NDC, that I was very strict upon because they were in power. If I can come and tell you that that NDC is more open to criticisms than your new patriotic party, you should remove the wax from your ears and accept it. You're calling somebody an S-word. I wonder what you are. I wonder you, Frank, I know what you are. Go and address. None of those people are your standards. Go and live up to your own promise to the good people of Ghana. What is the impact of a freedom of a right to information law if journalists are fearful of investigating and reporting matters? What is the import of it? You uncouth human beings with no manners. Incapable when they're losing a debate, incapable of holding on their debate and referring to name calling. Go and sanitize your mind and sanitize your mouth before you come on here. Jake says Bawumia must meet the press before he can call for a debate. As he should. As he should. As he should. Good evening. I'm also watching from Manwe. Oh, my wa people. Ya anola. Ya barika. Seke tontuma. Ya tontuma pa. Ya nye blane government nga and government country nga. Mngane ya saka yanka baba mo promise ne ban promise Ghanaians ne. Blana ne ban deliver. Nye poverty ambi one. No ba kumban da bonho sima da anga a top blanganyinga. Banker school free senior high school, which is good because ka school ndebe chibeti mineta dana kumbanye school karananda batu anga school jiletin wojinga yala amayenga tidana kunto. So nye ja kumbanye la ka school ga abo basuma. Chaye I ke no mo iyega ka secondary school hina mbibeni. Yatinya sime hine bandre. Yatinya asime hine a school bihi andre. Kenya ka problem bachibe. Kabihi manga school 2 months ati jindion 4 months. Kajon ya laka blani ya implementer a free senior high school ni. Adia problems wanika ya kuya liyanko kunonwa kuna wangwa ka as free senior high school abahe. Oba ya labla. So kenan sage ka problems be a country and say ke ja ayi amai yala akunuba. Konye ka prop jenga na tenta pompana ne tukumbala de ajonjong akunuba ngo banu wane ti jenga but tukumbala de ajonjong kubo kolawa ajin ala sanyala he gabla na ban sanyala he state land he ban dare jele jida kenan wa akra jenga awonye state land he ne ban de ji ne government land he ne ban de amiera de bera a inna Cheye manjin ka kwong a problem. Kabi sima a problem. Nyahe especially first time voters ne yembi one ne. Say ke shine your eyes. Say ke shine your eyes. So yela na mbi bene labla. Say ke ja tuna kare I government nga ayi. Ache voti John Mahama ning NDC alawaning. So my friends in Wa, my brothers and sisters in Wa, thank you for joining me. Lord. Okay, anyway, I'm sure people are also reading. Me, I can't even read more. Me, I'm tired though. Abdullah says, Shamima, aren't you ashamed? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia interacting with the good people of Ghana, especially the 5 northern regions. I know more. One day I asked what is it? Me, I don't even know what to say to you, Abdul. Go in peace, okay? go in peace. Go in peace, oh, go in peace and not in pieces. Anyway, this Frank, no, I don't even know what he's doing here. So all the questions, why don't you accept the debate? You are a very funny man, you Frank, no. I'll pray for you this evening. Nah, we hear deliverance kakra. Why? Maybe umpire ma. Debate. No one I have one. Who debate? I wouldn't say debate or rules, but you don't even know how to debate in public because you can have a debate in public. that you are calling for a debate that you yourself cannot. You see, that is the inconsistency of the people around the MPP. You that you are calling for debate, you don't know that debate has rules. You think that Dr. Bawumia can go and stand on an IA debate and call somebody the word you used here? You don't know what debate is on. Patrick, research, right? And apply the knowledge you learn. Kamal is an innovation that made citizens impoverished. They say we go eat digitization. Oh, Kamal, make you no talk. It be digitization you go eat. Make you go eat them. It be digitization. You go market. They go buy tomatoes, onions. Make you talk the market woman. Charlie, madam, and they buy 50 Ghana cedis worth of tomatoes. Please, this is my digitization money. That be him we go eat. Nobody. Where we are going as a continent, as a country, as the way the world is going, technology is here. We are in the throes of the 4th industrial revolution. Technology will determine, in fact, in the next decade, our life will change substantially more than we know it. So, digitization, leveraging technology in all aspects of our daily lives. Let me borrow the word. Even my 16-year-old recognizes that will happen. It is not out of this world to have a policy to drive the adoption of new technologies in the delivery of service and in solving social problems. It is a no-brainer that no government in this 21st century, in this period, would have no response to using digitalization or technology. It's a no-brainer. How do you expect Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to debate with Ghanaians? Is that the norm? Oh, you don't understand. Shani, I hope that I'm hoping that this question of yours is good intentioned. So I would answer you. So when we are going to an election, so yes, when candidates in other places, the candidates going into the election, that includes the candidates, the incumbent candidates, and the opposition candidates. In other elections, a jurisdiction, debates are part of the norm. But I'm saying to you that even before we got here, which is always the election year that these debates come up, even before we got here, over the past 4 years, the media has asked, why has the president stopped the press briefings? It is not the information ministry's ministerial briefings. We are talking about the president of the land meeting the media at least once a year to give himself. Can you work in any organization for 4 years without any evaluation? People do yearly evaluations. They do 360-degree evaluations, yearly evaluations to see how well you have met your KPIs and whether or not you arrive for a promotion or not. 4 years. 4 years. You have not presented yourself to the people of Ghana. Your vice president candidate, then, who was the head of the economic management team, who came into prominence because of him being touted as an economic whiz kid, and who we're told was the lead in the economic management of our country. He, during the time, presented questions, when he was in opposition, presented questions to the then Vice President, Mr. Arthur, to answer. Questions about debt management, about excessive borrowing, about interest rates, about corruption, questions about the Bank of Ghana, monetary rates, interest rates, and how monetary rate policies are not. He presented a raft of questions about our economy to be answered. If you really truly mean well, as I've said, and I want to remind you, if this is about equity, then you must come to the table with clean hands. And that means, first of all, account to the people of Ghana. They are the ones in whom you are in a social contract with. You've not done that. Despite the calls, are you telling me, Shani, that you have not heard the media ask the vice president to answer the economic questions, that you have not heard media, when you tune in morning, afternoon, evening, saying that why is it that the vice president has stopped speaking about the economy and is now speaking only about digitalization? You have not heard, my brother. We are all Muslims. You have not heard. If you have heard, then come and amend your question. That is what I'm saying. I'm saying that for there to be any calls about a debate with an opponent, let the candidate first account to the people through the medium of the media, if he wishes, or any other alternative. That is your primary accountability partner. That is what I mean by accounting to the people, okay, and debating with Ghanaians. So because when you go and meet the media like JM did, they would ask you questions that their listeners have been asking you. And when you answer the questions, that is you debating with the audience. That is you debating with the Ghanaian people, because the media is presenting and representing their voices, their issues, their concerns. When you answer those issues, questions, concerns, you are debating with the audience, with the citizens of Ghana. Do that first. Debate or no debate, for 3 years you have been making noise across the country. Now come and justify the noise. Okay. Contrived. You may run with it as you choose.